speaking of people being very normal, we got a big return on Raw. Do we want to talk about that? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
I have not. No, not at
Fucking
all. Not one bit. So I'm telling you.
Oh, people forgot what it means to be worked. They worked me, and I'm fine with it. Oh, but he might win now. Okay, he's allowed to win.
Here's the thing. I have a few different thoughts here. So thoughts. Briefly, quickly.
Deep thoughts, Jake.
Deep thoughts. One, it was always the plan. TKO worked us all, and they went ahead and had always this intention. This was what they always had in mind, the retirement, making it look real, the open challenge, all of it. And this is the story that they are dealing us. 2,
okay.
Brock actually retired, felt like he was done, and then got threatened to be sued by TKO for taking that into his own hands. And that tinfoil hat theory kind of has a slight bit of weight on it, only because for so long now have we seen and heard over and over again that, Lesnar was going to be in breach of contract. He was going to be found, this, and that. So it seemed like it was a real possibility. It was something that, could exist. Am I fully convinced? No. But it is still something to be discussed.
Do you know what I loved about
what's
this?
That?
Sorry, I know I'm cutting you
off.
No.
No.
What I loved about this on Raw, and there's certain relationships on Raw that are not even between wrestlers that I've always loved. We always loved Kayla Braxton and Paul Heyman and how they got along backstage. Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman is an interesting one to watch. When Adam Pearce comes in and he's always got the I need a fucking drink or whatever. Right? He's like,
yes,
he can't be here. I just finished drawing up his retirement papers.
Yes. So
#retirement papers.
#papers for Brock Lesnar. He didn't say Lesnar, he said Lesnar. So some people are like, see, he's saying it's Lesnar, not Lesnar, and it's not really him, and none of it makes sense.
Did you see the botch as well?
What's that?
Brock Lesnar needs to get himself in touch with Sydney Sweeney because he looks like he needs some better genes.
Oh boy, yeah, that happens every time with him. I don't even call that a botch. That's just he gets him too tight, and they allow him to rip off. So
that's what it's like when he walks into the bedroom with Sable.
Yeah, and Budweiser won't pay him.
Who let the elephant in?
My last theory is that the other story they can tell with this is that the whole time Lesnar retired, and it was always their plan, but their explanation for it, a little bit different than the first, that this was always their plan. But, Lesnar retires, and then because he lost his confidence. He's been beat, but he got beat by Goldberg because he, didn't think he was going to be a real competitor anymore. He's too old. He undermined or undervalued people, and that led to his undoing. His hubris, was what got him. So if you go ahead and think like, okay, so Brock got beaten down, couldn't mentally take it, and then went ahead and finally said, fuck it, I'm Brock Lesnar. I should be out there. And then found his moment and attacked Obafemi. It's not a hard explanation or a hard sell. They drew up his retirement papers, but he didn't fully retire yet. He's
not an employee. He's just a guy that is attacking somebody.
Yes. They could do a bunch of things with it, knowing that it'll be the biggest match they'll have, period, for, anything coming up, obviously.
Okay,
we get it. So
okay. Spaz puts his giant conspiracy hat on here, right?
Yes.
Now you have to have a convergence of a lot of different things to make this make sense, right? You saw the huge pop that he got at WrestleMania for quote unquote retiring, right? When everybody thought he was retiring, thank you, Brock, right?
And you were never fully sold on it either, so
I wasn't. It was like one of those.
I was more like, yeah, it seems like he's done, and you were like, I'm not so sure.
I wasn't so sure, but also I was just hoping, like, if it was true, like, will the fans let him have his moment, or will they just be dickheads? Here's my thing though, right?
And they were dickheads.
We've always talked about the fact that SummerSlam is in his hometown. If he's going to retire, he's going to retire there. couple things. You already saw the babyface reaction he got for retiring at WrestleMania, even though he was facing Oba, who's a
Yes.
babyface.
Say a
Now,
couple things. I'll give you two.
he's gonna be a babyface. What is it? SummerSlam's in Minnesota, right? That's
Yes.
his hometown. He's gonna be a babyface in Minnesota no matter what you do, right? Now,
Correct.
the last time he kind of had a babyface moment was when he had the match with Cody, and he kind of like had the
Yeah.
handshake and the nod after the match, right? And he got a
Yes.
little bit of respect for that, right?
Yes.
If he's going to do a trilogy with Oba, where Oba beats him the first time, he comes back angry, full of piss and vinegar, maybe cheats, whatever, gets the second win at Clash in Italy. And then the rubber match happens in Saudi because the Saudis love a Brock
Yeah.
match, and maybe that's where his paycheck came from.
What happens
Um,
in good old
in
Mini?
in Saudi, no, but in Saudi on the third time around, he gets pushed to the limit by Oba. Oba gets the second win. He wins the trilogy of matches. Brock shows him respect. He
But who does he
gets.
face?
I'm getting there.
Okay, that's what I
I'm
wanted to
getting
make
there.
sure you were getting. All right. I didn't know if you were
It's
skipping over it or not.
no, 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 no. I'm not skipping over who you think I'm skipping.
Okay.
But finish this up at the Saudi show. What is it? Clash of Champions, right?
Yes.
And let him have the third match. Big gigantic stage, big money, big pyro, the whole bit. Oba,
Okay, so
gets
that's what I wasn't understanding. Gotcha. So you're saying Clash before SummerSlam? Jesus, Clash Champions because that's in Saudi. When you said Saudi, I originally was going to
Clash,
Mania in
yeah,
my
Clash
head.
of Champions is in
That's why I
Saudi.
was like,
So
why are you skipping
so
over SummerSlam?
give
Now I
give
retract my moronic tired
okay.
statement. Thank you.
So you give Brock Lesnar the cheating, scheming Healy victory over Oba at Clash in Italy,
Yes.
and it calls for the rubber match. The rubber match happens in Saudi, and I'm sorry, no matter how you feel about the Saudi shows, they are a gigantic stage. Look at all the money involved and all that kind of thing, right? Big stage, big pyro. Oba Femi comes back for blood. He wins it, like harder fought match. Maybe they go a little bit longer than they did at Mania. Earns Brock Lesnar's respect. There's a handshake, whatever the case may be. Raises his hand, puts him over. Gets to look like the good guy leading into his last match.
Yeah, and like you
He's
said too,
still
I totally forgot about the Saudi part coming up. So that would make a
he
lot of sense
still
too. If
goes to
Lesnar was
SummerSlam.
done, and then they're like, oh well, Saudi wants you, so we're gonna make you do this, this, and that. You're not retired. Here's the deal. They're gonna give you an extra $10 million. I could see that being the case. I
But
truly
here's the
could
thing.
because Lesnar's
Here, here's
always so
here's where you
contractually motivated.
Here's where you make it work, though. Match number 3, Oba wins. He earns Brock Lesnar's respect. Brock Lesnar raises his hand, puts him over, whatever, like he did for Cody. He's a little bit on the good guy side, just enough. That's when he handpicks Gunther for SummerSlam because Brock, being a babyface in his hometown, in what we all know to be his retirement match, is going to be received as a babyface anyway. So you might as well tell the story. Hey, you thought I was leaving. You thought with me gone, you could leverage my buddy Paul Heyman. I'm not going to let that happen.
Yeah.
He might even go to Clash in Italy and cost Gunther the match against Cody.
Mm.
So he's the reason that Cody maintains the title. He's the reason Gunther doesn't win the title. Gunther's the heel. He's doing it in defense of his friend, which even if you're a heel, that's still an understandable motive. He finishes his business with Oba. He does it the quote unquote right way. He goes for Gunther for his last match. Maybe they tell you in advance that it's his last match, his retirement match, whatever. That way, everything kind of falls into place for one single solitary Brock Lesnar as a babyface match. Goes in. Does he put over Gunther? Probably, but
Probably.
it's the only way it makes sense
So if they
because
don't do the third match at SummerSlam with Oba, that's the only way this works. Like they have to
I
do
don't
it in
I don't
Saudi.
I don't think you give Oba the SummerSlam match because don't give Oba the match
Yeah,
where
because
Brock
like you
is
said, where
sleeping in
Brock
his
will be
chair.
the face.
Yeah.
You totally engaged my brain and made me
Yeah.
reconsider a lot of what I was considering already. So
Mhm. And I will
yeah.
say what's one of the things about Brock Lesnar that people have been the angriest? I mean, not that, but
Nah.
in storyline, what was the thing that made people the most angry?
What's that?
With Brock?
Yes.
What wa what was
The
the one?
streak?
No. People got way more angry about a certain thing that happened on SmackDown.
Oh, with Kofi, yes.
Yep.
I
And
forget about
he's
that often, the 8-second or
yes, because
6-second match, and
it's such a non-reason to get angry. A main eventer beat a mid-carder on a weekly episode of television. It's fine, don't worry about it. Then he went on to face,
the
Cain
Fox
Velasquez
SmackDown debut had over, what, 4+ million people
yeah,
watching?
in, like, less than 7 seconds.
Yeah.
Then he went on to face Cain Velasquez, and that was a huge money-making opportunity.
And
But,
they
I
don't
mean,
want Kane to come back. Look at that. Funny how that works.
it people don't want either Cain to come back, isn't that but that's not politically motivated at all.
Not
Let's be
one
really
bit.
weird about wrestlers going to the UFC show at the White House because we don't like it's at the White House. My point being is that Brock Lesnar is now 2-0 against Kofi Kingston, once for the belt and once for staying employed. I'm an asshole. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Let's get back.
I didn't
Let's
see
get
that
back to
happening.
Saturday night's main event.
You
Uh,
son of a bitch, you got me.
that's gonna be a clip.